This is the new Ford Mustang GT. With its unmistakably new body surrounding an equally dramatic 5-liter port fuel-injected engine, it's easy to pick out the Mustang GT from a crowd. Not that it's likely to be in one. This is the new Mustang GT.
Have you driven a Ford lately?
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And guys, this is for those who don't know. This is what sometimes you have to do. And if you've ever seen those stickers on Jeeps that say it's a Jeep thing you wouldn't understand, all that garbage, this is one of those videos, because I get people, trolls most of the time, all the time, saying why the old shit boxes? Why the old wrecked out, clapped out, whatever Mustangs? I'm about to tell you. So basically, everybody knows that since 1964 and a half, the Mustang has been basically an American icon. And other than like the Corvette, is basically, it's one of the only ones that went on an uninterrupted run 50 plus years. 50 plus years. Sorry, Camaro guys, you can't make that claim to fame. Not to knock a Camaro or anything, but guys, that says a lot for these cars. So where does the Fox body fit in? Well, that's part of why these cars are special. And this car had no retro cues. The newer cars, basically all of them, carry retro cues in the body lines and, you know, the interior, the badging, stuff like that. Fox body had none of that. So why was that? You know, other than, you know, a few minor tweaks and saying Mustang GT, you really couldn't tell that, you know, this had any heritage from other model year Mustangs. And maybe it was an 80s thing, but there was also talk, and it almost happened in 1989. Ford was trying to kill off the Mustang and bring it back as the Ford Probe, as a front-wheel drive V6 gas saving whatever. And sorry, but you know, owners like myself and the millions of others that love these cars said no, and Ford had to keep it going. So we were that close. But you know, that's what kind of sets this car apart. It doesn't have all the retro cues that a lot of other cars did. And not only that, but the Fox chassis essentially covered the gamut. It went from, you know, carbureted 4-speed to, you know, fuel injected 5-speed, you know, the Cobra R's, the Cobra, the Salines, the Steedas, so many, the SAC cars, SAAC. There were so many special models that originated from this, and so many huge performance brands that came from this car, from this era, that, you know, were big because they started out building go fast parts for these cars. So if you really want to get into the culture, the 5.0 is iconic. It's already iconic. You know, from like Vanilla Ice, you know, just all the movies, you know, like Menace to Society. And there's so many, guys. The 80s and the 90s were covered up with movies that featured these cars, and it basically made that little 5.0 emblem famous. You know, and I don't care where you go, if you say I've got a 5.0, people know exactly what you're talking about. And in 2011, when the Coyote came out and they put the 5.0 on the fender, you didn't know? That's where it came from. These cars. So to say that these cars aren't special in a way that no other car can say, I mean, we haven't even touched on the SSP, the police cars. You don't see police car Mustangs anymore. Let's talk about some other stuff. You go to any drag strip anywhere in the country, you're gonna see a bunch of these, and I mean a bunch, and they're the ones winning. And it's because they work. They do really well, and they do so well. Ford did them so well that even the Chevy fanboys had to say, yeah, I guess I'm gonna put my LS in a Ford because Chevy doesn't make anything good enough to get me down the track like a Ford Mustang. Oh, did I say that? I'm sorry. But it's facts, guys. It's facts. You know, you have to admit that no matter what, these cars work on the track. And yeah, they were built cheap, guys. They were, you know, you could buy one new for about 13 grand in 1987. And, you know, they didn't stop very well. They didn't handle very well. And, you know, by today's standards, they were slower than a Honda Odyssey. But the history there, the legacy that these cars have is completely undeniable. Any show you go to, any track you go to, you're going to see these cars. And now, as time is progressing, the value is going way up, the desirability is going way up, and the cars are getting more scarce as they've been wrecked and raced and abused and cut up and everything else. So demand is naturally, just by the simple law of supply and demand, is going up. So maybe I still haven't answered your question. Why these cars? Essentially, they were affordable. If you had a family and you know, maybe didn't make a whole heck of a lot of money, you could still afford to go get a Mustang and go bang gears and have that V8 sound and, you know, modify it as funds allowed. And, you know, it wasn't complicated to work on, and they were reliable. They were extremely reliable, and they still are. This car's still got the original engine in it, and, you know, that was it. You know, guys didn't have to, you know, dream about, you know, saving up 30 grand in 1989 for a Corvette. They could go drop 13, 14, 15 and have a car with a reasonable payment that they could put headers on, they could put pulleys on, they could put gears on, go to the track and have fun, or just go cruise. You know, whatever it is they want to do, it was attainable, it was realistic, and they were still fun to drive, even being affordable. Okay, so what is the future for these cars? And we're already seeing it. I mean, that question's already answered. The values, they're going through the roof. They really are. And it bothers me sometimes, you know, because I used to be able to get, and I've done this several times, y'all, because I've owned, I don't know, 17 of these cars over the years. A clean Survivor car, $3,500 all day long. But, God, that was 20 years ago. 20 years ago. And I still get people on the internet that think it's the year 2000 or 01 or 02, and you can still do that. And then somebody will post up a nice clean Survivor car for $7,500, $8,500, and they laugh at them and say, oh, car's not worth anything. Well, wake up, dude. 25 years later, yeah, they really are. You know what's crazy too, guys, as we're talking about our old shitbox Mustang, Fox body, is you take a car like this to a show in a sea of bagged S550s and 1,000 horsepower S197s. This car will get more attention than those. And why is that? Why? I don't know. It's even I can't really describe that. Why do these cars garner so much attention? Why do people love them so much? And I think a lot of it, again, is the history and how so many people remember these cars from back in the day. And I swear, just driving this piece around town, I still get people that just breaking their necks to look at it. And it's still hilarious to me. A lot of it, again, I can't completely explain, but it's true. People will break their necks to see an old Fox body and, you know, $100,000 S550 with twin turbos and bags. Yeah, seen one, you've seen them all. So there you go, guys. I hope that sheds a little bit of light on why these cars matter so much. You know, the history, the legacy that these cars have is undeniable, and they're going to continue to become more popular, and they're going to continue to go up in value, and they're going to continue to be harder to find. And that's not just because they're a Fox body. That's how any classic car over the years, that's how it goes. The older they get, the less there are of them. So again, my advice, scoop one up if you want one. And there's a lot of information out there, and sure, there's a lot newer cars out there. There's a lot faster cars. There's a lot of cars that stop better. There's a lot of cars that handle better. You know, in matter of opinion, look better. And don't take Pop's car as an example, because he's mid-resto. But sure, yeah. No, I'm not standing here claiming that these are the best looking, the fastest, the, you know, whatever cars out there. But there's a history there. There's a legacy there. And I'll always have these cars. I always have, essentially since I could drive. And I'll just keep making videos about them and build them and showing you some of the baddest in the country, because that's what I do. So there you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a big thumbs up. Make sure you smash that subscribe button. And I'll be back with more of these old raggedy Mustangs for you to check out.